Welcome to The Kid is in School, where we talk about whatever we want since our kid is not here to interrupt us. But we don't have a lot of time before the bell rings, so let's get right into it. I have a recurring dream that I've been hired to SNL the day of the show. They bring me on, and it's very slapped together, and I don't even know my lines, but you just read cue cards, so I'm standing there.
So you're saying that the reoccurring dream is that Saturday morning you're hired for Saturday night.
I guess so. Honestly, I would almost say it's Saturday night. They just pull me in. The dream starts with me on stage, by the way. It's just kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. Now, this varies. Sometimes Lorne Michaels is in the dressing room saying, you're going to have a great show. Sometimes I'm just on stage and the audience is already in. And it's been going on since Andy Samberg was on the show. So, because the cast members in my dreams keep changing. But the whole point is I have this feeling of relief, like, wow, I finally made it. And, then I wake up and I go, oh, wait, that was a dream. But it's always great to have it in the moment. I remember one of them, Robert De Niro, was in the front row of an audience, clapping. And I was like, well, this is great. Bobby D loves me.
So your dreams are one of the most well-respected actors is applauding you.
Oh, yeah. He loves what I'm doing. Now, do dreams mean anything to you? Because I feel like you like to make a joke of oh, please don't tell me your dream. But I regularly want to tell you my dream just to get it out. I have to get it out of my brain. So do they mean something to you? Because to me, they reflect your feelings about, they're usually very obvious. They're like, oh, I want to be on SNL. That dream was about that. I mean, let me say that again. Oh, I want to be on SNL. That's what that dream was about.
Yeah. Well, do I think dreams mean anything? Yeah, I think they mean there may be your subconscious has absorbed all of these things from daily life or things in your life. For example, you've auditioned for SNL. You have been in show business for years. We know some of the same people that are on the show itself. So is it something where it means nothing? It's like, no, it's your experiences.
You know what you just reminded me of? My dreams about it didn't start until after that audition. But the audition didn't feel like the dreams feel. The audition felt like, oh, I hope they pick me. I wonder if they'll pick me. The dream was like, yeah, they finally got it right. I wish I had the confidence in the audition of I can't wait to work there because it's in the bag, but I truly wasn't sure. And then, in real life, I've not been on the show. But I don't know. I think the dream represents something more than just that. Because I think when you describe dreams, it's
I don't. Yeah.
Your dreams are like soup. Whatever you saw in the day, that's what happens. But for me, it's I think it's my subconscious trying to break through my conscious. My conscious has a ton of walls up. I don't let myself feel the way I really want to feel. And in my subconscious, I'm very raw and open. And it's like, this is great. So when I'm happy, it's really happy. And when I'm sad, I'm bawling. I'm like, no, like Al Pacino in Godfather 3. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it, he cries in that one. So, yeah, to me, it reflects more of how I really deeply feel about something, which is good news for you when you show up in a dream. You should always ask me what happens when you're in a dream.
Well, so the problem is I don't think it means anything, so it doesn't matter to me at all.
You wouldn't
I don't
believe
care.
it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with dreams. Jim Gaffigan had a joke about dreams, that your dreams are the most amazing, interesting thing in the world, but other people's dreams to you are the boringest, dullest, couldn't care less.
It's like you had to be there.
Yes, and I don't, but the thing is, I don't even care about my own dreams. There's sometimes I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting that this person showed up in my dream after all of these years.
Right.
But my thought is I wonder what triggered that. I don't think it was someone from the dead contacting me. Yeah. I don't think it was a message from God. I don't think that my subconscious was trying to push through and go, this is, you've been ignoring this for so long. It's just, there must have been something.
You keep dreaming about buying a lottery ticket and you keep waking up going, what a dumb, meaningless dream. Well, back to regular life, buying generic cheese.
Well, if there was the same number popping up, get the lottery ticket.
You might take it seriously.
Yes.
I hope you would at least mention it to me so that I could see it as a sign, and then I would buy the
04,
ticket.
82, 17. You know.
Oh, your locker combo from middle school.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. And so other people's dreams are even more meaningless to me than my own. Like, so since I don't think mine have that much meaning other than just a slight curiosity, other people's dreams have even less that.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you like solving puzzles?
It depends. I don't like the 1,000-piece puzzles.
You don't like jigsaw puzzles?
Yeah.
Ah,
But,
interesting.
You know, I could do a whodunit type of puzzle like Clue or something like that once in a while.
Yeah, I know you to be a very rational-minded person. You love logic, but I don't... And I think you're imaginative, but you don't really like to apply your imagination to something where there's already facts before you. You hate speculating during a true crime show. I've unfortunately come to realize I'm sitting here
Let
like...
me watch the show. Let them unfold.
I pause the show
plot.
so many times just to say, ooh, do you think that guy really wants this? And you're like, well, let's watch it and find out. We don't have enough evidence yet. And I'm like, you don't need evidence. Look in his eyes.
It's too much.
So I'm a very intuition-based person. I'm always looking for signs. I like to fill in gaps, as we've said in previous podcasts, with my own information until I have some other contradictory
I think that's
facts.
much more of the point than whether or not these things have inherent value, is that you are trying to fill in the gaps with these things. Mm-hmm. And so with dreams, you're trying to fill in the gaps. So you're going, well, there has to be some sort of connection. I think, there's no connection, so I don't need to find it, because I think that your type of thinking with the dreams is how you get to conspiracy theories.
So for you, it's just a slippery slope. That's why you don't even want to go there.
No,
you don't like to entertain it.
I don't think it's a slippery slope. I think it's within the same thought processes, but and my brain doesn't work like that. So I don't have to try to see meaning in things that I don't think are there. Or let me put it differently than meaning. Connections. I don't necessarily need to see connections with things that aren't there.
Well, it's funny because sometimes I don't realize in the dream that I'm the director. You know, if you have yourself, like in the SNL dream, if you have yourself like being amazing.
Well, maybe you're not.
Well,
apparently you're not the director.
Well, let me finish my thought. Like, so if there's something where I'm doing great, then you wake up and you realize, oh, you just want everybody to see you do great. It's like, I guess, but it's more like it felt really good to feel, it just felt very validated, and I long to feel validated in my career in real life. Let's just say that's what that, and one interpretation might mean. So, or if something surprises me in a dream, like, what is that guy doing here? I don't wake up and go, well, you're the one that wrote this. You wrote this screenplay. You should know what he's doing here. I don't. It's a surprise to me. I generally get surprised in my dreams. And when you said you don't hear the dead speak, after a death, I've had a woman that recently died in my, she was a family friend, come to me and say, it's all right, sweetie. And I woke up feeling completely at peace. So, that you could say that's just you longing to, like, I don't know, feel better about her passing. And it's like, well, yeah. And I think that's okay if you... Thank you, brain, for making up the image of that woman to tell me it's all going to be all right, because that's all I needed to hear. I needed to hear it from her.
Okay, well then I will go along with, as long as they're saying nice things and pleasant things after their death, then it's them speaking to you. But if they come back to you like Jacob Marley, like, you got to change everything, then it was just coincidence and your brain made it up.
Oh, really, Scrooge? So if you... The whole point was Scrooge heeded their advice and he changed for the better. Or was your takeaway that he kept ignoring them?
No, he did ignore them until it was his own grave. Right? He's like, I don't...
So you are Ebenezer Scrooge. You need a bigger wake-up call. Oh, well, let me end on this. Our daughter, I was telling her about the difference between dreams because she really wanted to tell me a dream. And hers are very... If you want to know what a 5-year-old dreams, in the morning she says, Did a volcano spew black lava on the street last night, or was that a dream? And I said, that had to be a dream. Look out the window. There's no volcano out there. And she said, oh, and she wanted to keep talking about it. Why did I dream that? And I said, well, mommy thinks dreams express your real feelings about something, whereas daddy thinks dreams are just a soup of what you've seen in the day that randomly come to you at night. And she said, I think it's a third option. I think I can predict the future. And that's when I said, give me my lotto numbers, please.
Yeah. Well, I do think that there is some element of your things that you're processing throughout the day and throughout your life in general. So if you're anxious about maybe a career or money or a relationship, those things can manifest themselves in dreams. But I don't think it just came out of nowhere, and I don't think it's some sort of sign or like some subconscious trying to tell you a different reality than you're actually seeing. It's like, I think those are influences, and yeah, you're processing that, your brain's still processing those feelings the same way that it also processed that you were at the zoo and saw all these monkeys, and the monkey showed up in your dream, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like the universe. The more I learn about it, the less magical it is. And I think the more I view dreams like that, of like, well, they're just, your brain has to work at night, so it's just putting things together any way it knows how. The less meaning I hear in the universe, the sadder it is to me. So
you think the universe itself is not magical? Like, and the more you learn about it?
Well, I did retweet today that Mars, we've got, even though it's 128 million miles away, we have footage from some machine that we made that shows what it looks like.
Yeah, we've gone to Mars with non-human spacecraft, and also like little rovers and things that are on the surface.
Well, not since Matt Damon's movie. Not since Matt Damon went there did I really take a good look at the landscape. So today I saw a video of it, and it was just, you know, they're like, listen to the sounds, and the sound is like, so it's not magical, but it is neat. So I'm not in awe of, you know, the world around me and the universe around me, but I think I need imagination in order to enjoy this life, all right? And you don't, and you're fine. You're
That's
like
not
that
true.
Charles Dickens book where
is
a kid draws a horse on a piece of paper, and the teacher tells him, horses can't fit on paper. This is nonsense.
No, it's not. Because there's a difference. There's like, I have plenty of imagination, and I think I can acknowledge imagination. There's a line though where you say, it's not my imagination, this is reality. Like whether it's going to clairvoyant, psychic, it's like, well, I think that's made up and silliness. And so, but it's, if somebody wants to say, this is all, we're pretending here. Okay. But when you start saying, no, this is actually fact too, then it's like, get out of here. I know that's fake. That's
okay, let
funny.
me take a side street here to this conversation, because I was thinking earlier, this woman complimented my gray hair. And I thought, thank you, that's nice of you. And then I was like, is it that my gray hair is cool, or is that she's just a nice person that saw some beauty in it and wanted to say so? And so I wonder, are compliments more a reflection of what you look like, or are they more a reflection of the beautiful spirit of someone that wants to share that and tell you that you made their day? What do you think?
It's a third option. The person complimenting can see the future. So,
and I want her to give me my lotto numbers now. Because back to your tarot cards or astrology, I think that when someone does a tarot reading for you, I don't put much stock in it either, because I think a lot of it has to do with, if I took statistics, you know, and I was good at math, maybe I could understand why certain cards pop up. But, you know, if you suspend your disbelief and you think, okay, these cards are popping up because of your energy, and I really don't know. I think it's more of an interpretation of the reader. It's like, what do you see in me, and how do you see this? So to me, that's like the woman that complimented my gray hair. So when a person turns over a card that says, you're going to die soon,
that's just her interpretation.
I think, well, you have a morbid sense of humor.
Oh, right here we have the old shriveled lady with gray hair card. Huh. But the thing, like, anytime I see those tarot cards on a movie or a television show, it never seems to mean anything. It's like, oh, this is, you know, the willow tree, and that means that you're going to die. And then they have the skull-faced reaper, and that actually means prosperity. I'm like, where are you even coming up with this? Like,
That's because you haven't done a deep dive into it. What you know about video games and wrestling is what they know about tarot cards, all right? You're never going to learn the names and the stats. It's like baseball cards or even automobiles. Who was I thinking about recently that knows cars? I forget. I was having some convo with myself at night about like, I'll never ever know all there is to know about cars, and some people do, and that's just their gift. You know, like that's just people's hobby.
I don't know if that's
or
a
passions.
gift.
I don't know about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm using the wrong word. A gift, hobby, and passion are not the same thing, but you know what I mean. That's their thing. That's what makes them tick.
I'm just blessed with knowing all the cars in the world.
I'll just never know cars. Like I have car blindness. Have you noticed this about me? Like,
I think I'm the one that pointed this out in you.
did you coin this term? And yeah, when we leave a store together in a different town and we have to find whatever, either a rental car or the car we own, like I honestly, I can't find it.
It's amazing to me how you don't know cars, because you think, okay, well, you would know the difference between a sedan and an SUV.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But sometimes you don't. Like you say, oh, I know that one.
Depends how small the SUV is.
Yeah.
If it's one of those compact SUVs. But I was just gonna say, I know a sedan from a truck, pickup truck, but I don't know a Toyota from a Camry. Wait a second, same thing. Toyota from an Acura.
Yeah, that would be funny if you're just like, I don't know a Toyota from a Camry, and I don't know a Honda from a Civic. And
Yeah, before we had a kid, I would have said it that way, but she's now taken up your hobby of pointing them out with you, so she teaches me what cars are what.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like you don't know the actual makes and models.
Right.
You don't know years. Mm-hmm. I feel like you wouldn't know the difference between a car that was made in 89 and one that was made in 2019. Like
no.
You just,
nope.
like you don't go,
well, I mean,
oh, this
slight
is
shape difference.
This is very boxy. And
You know what's a great example of that? When I saw a car that was the Ford Bronco, right? You were like, oh, this is like a classic Bronco. And I said, but that looks like oh shoot, what is that one called? Do you know what I'm talking about? It looks so much like a CJ.
I almost never know what you're talking about.
The car is not real. Like a CJ Pruitt does not exist, but that's what the name sounds like.
A CJ Pruitt.
Yes. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a model that sounds like that?
Well, there's some Jeeps that were the CJ thing. They had
not
model
that.
name. It's a CJ Pruitt. Like,
what does that sound like to you?
It doesn't sound like anything.
It's a blank, blank, blank.
Oh, blank, blank, blank.
Hey everyone, I actually stopped the podcast so I could look it up, and it turns out I was pretty close. Okay, back to the show. Like there is a car, the Ford Bronco. It looks exactly like a Toyota FJ Cruiser to me. And you're like, they're different brands.
They're different. Yes, they are. They're not even from the same country. Like,
you're right.
But the thing is, like, you have to look up those names to even know what it is that because you sound very informed when you go, oh, Ford Bronco, a Toyota FJ Cruiser. You know, it's like, yes, when you're saying it like that, you even sound more informed than you actually are, because in the moment you're like, that's a Ford Bronco, and it's like that. Nothing about that is Ford Bronco. Not the brand, not the country, not the anything. I mean, they're both SUVs.
It's like pointing to an apple. That's a cool banana. And you're like, I don't understand what's happening to your mind.
Yes, exactly.
So be it. That cars is your gift. And we did go off track. We were talking about hobbies.
Again, I want to kind of emphasize, I don't think it's a gift. I don't think that knowing car brands is a gift. I don't think it's a blessing. I think it's just that you have committed something in memory. It's not like you go, you just know the alphabet, and that's just your gift.
Oh, it's that simple to you? Because it's really hard to me to understand. I know math came easy to you as a kid, and it did not to me as well. And that's another thing where you're a wizard whenever you do quick subtraction.
I mean, this is not like a banana and a plantain here. These are lots of different looking fruits that you should be able to tell some of the difference from. And as you get to know them better,
right,
you're able to tell the difference even between a Granny Smith and a Fuji apple. You can kind of, you get that. Like that's not a gift.
We've had this combo before when it comes to geography. I don't retain this info. I may know at one point in time that Baltimore is above New York or vice versa.
No,
Fine.
Baltimore is not above New
It's
York.
below.
And the fact that you still, it's almost like you insist on being wrong with it. It's like,
But I know it's amusing now, but it doesn't serve me in life to be constantly wrong. I have to go against my instincts. I have to do the opposite of what I think is true just to get close to being right. And that's a
I
horrible
feel
way
like
to
you
live.
double swerved yourself.
I
Like,
do.
you're like-
Is that a basketball term? Am I crossing? Am I doing this? You see my motion. Am I
Right there.
double crossing
By
myself?
the way, everyone listening, she looked like a T-Rex moving her little arms around.
But I look like Lil Bow Wow. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like to watch him dribble up and down the court.
If Little Bow Wow saw that and said, if anyone thinks I look like that,
When he was 10, he did. Oh my goodness.
yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like anytime you say that, where you're like, I don't commit it to memory. It's like, it's not hard. It's almost harder to not know these things than it is to know them. To be like, I don't know, I guess Baltimore is above New York. It's like, since when have you ever driven north to go to Baltimore? And you're confusing
When do
it
you
with
know what
Boston
direction you're driving when you get in a car?
every single time. If you don't, you end up in the Hudson River. Like,
Look, I hate to overuse or to borrow an overused phrase such as galaxy brain, but perhaps I've got one.
I don't know that term. So I don't know if it's overused or never been used, but
I don't even know what context it's used in. I just kind of see stuff floating around on Twitter, and then I adopt it into my lexicon. You've had used cars? I'm a big used car fan over new cars. Do you have a preference?
well, I would imagine you wouldn't care at all because you don't know whether they're new, used, old. You don't even know the color.
But I do remember. Well, I've told you before. I had a Honda Prelude, and I liked that one. And I knew that one.
Yeah.
And I like owning versus the idea of leasing. I know some people are a fan of leasing a brand new car because they want to, they want to stay trendy and they want to look shiny and new. But if it's not yours, then it's not as fun. You know what I mean?
I assumed you didn't have fun in cars because you didn't know what they were. And
Although the
so-
first used car I had did have cigarette burns in the seat, and that bothered me.
that is something.
And
you
in the
don't-
ceiling.
You
too.
don't see it in the ceiling where they put out the.
The ceiling was foam. It had some kind of weird foam top, and
Yeah, a lot of cars from like the 80s, 90s, they had that ceiling liner.
Yeah.
That was like it's not just fabric, it was almost like felt.
Yes,
But I don't know
you're
what that's
right.
called.
No, you're right. It was like
And-
a little flocking material, and
Yes.
then underneath that turned out it was foam.
Yeah, there's foam. And so some cars, like so many cars from the 80s and 90s, especially when we were in high school and in college, when these were older used cars, they would either have cigarette burns and stuff or they would droop. They would start drooping. And I
you're
was tall enough that it
right.
would just be on my head.
It would sit on your head.
Yeah.
That's fun. Maybe it was for soundproofing, so you could really blast your tunes.
Would you mean soundproofing so that the car doesn't rattle?
Oh no, I meant soundproofing,
Or
like keeping the sound inside, like in a sound studio, so you can hear it nice and clearly, like everything.
Just the
else.
foam or the drooping part? Like drooping.
The droop actually adds acoustic power. Anywho,
I mean, yes, yeah, they do have like soundproofing for cars so that you don't hear all of the road noise everywhere you go.
yeah, that's the point. That was
But there's a lot of that in the car.
that's already a thing. Okay, well then I don't know what the foam was for. Just
Have you
keeping
ever
your vegetables
been in a convertible?
fresh. Yes.
And you know how much louder it is? It's not just the wind; it's
Yeah.
the road noise.
It's
and
like, get
cars
to the
pass by.
chopper.
That's what the car says to you.
Do you think
You just put it in the tape deck.
when you invited me into your topless Jeep, is that what you said? Did you say topless?
No, you
Oh,
do
okay.
not. It makes it sound very like pervy.
Okay. When you
But there
invited me
used to
into
be
your
cars used to also have this thing called like a bra that
Oh.
would go on the front of the car, which people don't
That's
do
weird.
anymore. But yeah, it was just, I guess, to protect the paint from little chips from rocks popping up.
Oh, okay. And they called it a bra?
Yeah, they called it a
couldn't
bra.
think of a better name, like a shield or a.
Well,
That's funny.
the bra's on the
Sunglasses?
front. It's topless. It's,
There we go. It actually makes too much sense. Those are also the cars that came with the eyelashes over the headlights. Those are a fun novelty.
Except in this instance, the headlights would be part of what you're covering with the bra.
Yeah, the headlights are the nipples in this case. What if nipples lit up? How cool. Especially if you were like extremely excited or in a great mood.
Or cold, like just.
Oh no, if you're cold and they light up, oh, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. We call them headlights anyway.
That's true, we do. Oh, full
But if they
circle.
actually lit up, like LED style.
Well, I think it'd be cool if they lit up because then you'd be signaling to someone. You'd be like, vroom, vroom, you know. I saw a car recently that looked like it was held together with Scotch tape, and that's an exaggeration. But let me describe what it really looked like. First of all, I wish I could tell you what kind of car it was, but I can't. But it was short and brown, and it had no back but a front. Do you know those kind? Is that called a hatchback?
No back but a front.
Yeah, like barely a back seat and a full front seat, and then a little nose.
Okay, so yeah, it could be a hatchback.
So this was a brown hatchback. It definitely looked old, but in place of a hood was a plastic bag. In place of the driver's side passenger window was a plastic bag, and in place of the back windshield was a plastic bag.
Are you sure you didn't just see a grocery bag?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It just flew right in my face.
You saw
and I was
someone
like,
carrying groceries down the street, and you're like, that's a car.
No, but I thought the hood would put it over the top. In fact, I should have told that in reverse order because everybody's used to seeing a bag cover a window. Mm-hmm. But this was most of the windows plus the hood. It was all clear plastic
Was the
bags.
windshield also a bag?
No, that's what I almost thought. I'll tell him the windshield was, and he won't believe me. But that guy had to be able to see. But it was just like, and we live near a place that repairs cars. A few places repair cars in this area. And so it could have just been someone driving it around the corner looking for a place to park it. But that car needed to go to a landfill.
That was more bag than car.
It was more bag than car.
There's
There's
no repair shop that can take care of this for you.
He was just carting produce from the grocery store, I think, at that point. That's all you can put in there. No passengers.
That's what's known as for parts. Whatever's left, whatever parts are left, use it on something else.
He put it together with a Lego a motor. Did you have that in grade school where you guys could put Legos together with a motor?
Like to create a motor itself with the Legos?
Yeah, you could to create a car that moved. I never got that far. To me, the motor was just too impossible to figure out.
No, but I wasn't a big Lego fan anyway. I mean, they're fine, but I know kids go absolutely bonkers for Legos.
They do. Is it the kids or is it their weirdo parents?
It seems like it's the weirdo kids.
Okay.
So it's.
I hope you're listening, weirdo parents with your weirdo kids.
They're like, well, I like them, but like they're outrageous. Like we went by this scratch and dent store. Like we didn't even know it was in our neighborhood, and we walked in and there was.
It popped up like a Spirit Halloween shop, didn't it?
It was. I was like, I asked the people up front, like, is this a pop-up shop? What is this thing? Like, we're here all the time.
And you know what was next door was free chickens, or like what was it? It was like
it's a chicken coop.
Chicken coop,
but like in a garage.
Yeah. It looks like cars used to be washed there, but instead it's now got cages of chickens.
Or as we know in other terms, car wash.
What did I say?
A place where cars get washed.
All I need to know is if you want to play Taboo with me, I'm your person, okay? I can describe a word without saying it, like nobody's business. So anyway, you went to the Scratch and Dent. Did you see some Legos?
Yeah, they had a Millennium Falcon Lego set, and it was like $51 there, and I was like, is that a good deal or a bad deal? And I looked it up, and on Target's website, that same set was $160 some. I'm like, $160 for a Lego set.
Yeah. First of all, that's outrageous. Second of all, no way you had the complete set in that Scratch and Dent box.
You're missing a third of the Legos. That's why it's a third of the price.
They're like, imagine it got blown up.
I was like, wait a second. The Millennium Falcon has a garbage bag over the...
Yes. Also, I think it's Lego blocks, not Legos, but I don't want to be correct about it because I don't care.
If there is someone like that, that's someone that works at Lego, and they are anal retentive. Nobody uses the word anal retentive anymore, that term.
You're right, they don't. It's very graphic when you think about it.
Yes.
It means they're like holding their booty in.
Yes. And so those are the type of people where you're like, all right, it's too late. You lost. We call them Legos.
Yeah.
There's no going back. So
Get over yourself.
You need to change. Yeah, we're not calling it Lego blocks just because that was what you decided to trademark.
It was trending recently that said Cheez-Its do not exist. Cheez-It crackers exist. And I thought, only if you work there.
Yeah.
Because nobody else in the world calls them anything other than Cheez-Its.
Yeah. No.
Same. I also heard on a McDonald's commercial, the actor says, Chicken McNuggets. Can I have a 10-piece Chicken McNuggets? And he pluralized the nuggets. And the other person repeated back to him, did I hear 10-piece Chicken McNuggets? And so I thought, I've only ever said it singular.
Now that I don't know what you mean. Like so you say, I'll have a 10-piece Chicken McNugget?
Yeah. Do you not say McNugget singular?
No.
You eat nuggets, but you order a McNugget.
What's a Mc? So a McNugget would just be a box of nuggets to you? That's the Mick is like pluralizing it. I don't think that's how that works.
How I had you and then I lost you.
You had me until
I should have tested you and said, how do you order a 6-piece? And then you would have been like, okay. Well, you really would have said 6-piece Chicken McNuggets. You say
Well,
nuggets.
I wouldn't say it like that. McNuggets. I'll have a
You better
I'll have a
not.
6-piece chicken McNugget. 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 I'm just
Oh no. Woo! I almost peed myself.
yeah. I would say I'll have a 6-piece chicken McNuggets, but also I wouldn't even have to say it anymore. Yes.
How long have I known you? You've been putting an S
but you
at the
do
end
that-
of a word that shouldn't have
But
an
you
S.
do that where you will say that with paper towels.
Yes.
I like, could you grab the paper towels? Or
I say paper towel. We're out of paper towel.
I-
And you hate that.
I despise it.
Why?
Because it's not a roll of paper towel.
But it's a paper, like if you made a paper towel hut, it would be a paper towel hut. It wouldn't be a paper towels hut.
I don't even, what do you mean hut?
Like you're fashioning something out of paper towel.
You mean,
Like wood. You don't say woods. You say
So-
woods when you're talking about the area. But if I get a roll of paper towels, I don't know. I just say paper towel. Like it's
could you grab the
'cause
paper
it's-
towel?
It's a noun on its own. I mean, it's, you know what I mean?
And no, this
Please
is
write in, people, to support me.
this
Write,
is like my parents saying Walmart.
call your congressman.
You know, my parents say McDonald, and it's like maybe at the McDonald you can have the McNugget.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait, do you think of yourself as a good tipper? I think of myself as a conscientious tipper.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't tip at McDonald very much.
You don't tip at the McDonald's?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you might get an extra McNugget in your McNugget. Did I say it that way again?
It's it's like Smurf. You use it like Smurf. Like McNugget is just like Smurf. I was Smurfing in the Smurf.
I will smurf your smurf right up. Anyway, but the thing is, I'm afraid of being a bad tipper, so I keep a list of tipping etiquette. So, like at a salon, how much you're supposed to tip, 20%, and at a restaurant, they say 15 to 18 for lunch, 20 for dinner, that kind of thing. And then I'm a real stickler. Even if the bill ends in 4 cents, I'm like, not a penny more. That's the 20% mark. And I think most real generous tippers round up.
I think I'm just a general 20% person. Just,
And do you round up after you've done the 20 in your head? I always use a calculator, by the way.
well, there are specific rules. So one is it's 20% of the bill pre-tax.
Mm-hmm.
It's always pre-tax now, but anybody can do post-tax if they want, but that's not part of the etiquette.
Okay, I think a generous person would do it post-tax.
Wouldn't a generous person just leave 25% of whatever, or 30 or whatever?
Yeah, they
want?
leave $100 bill and a wink.
So
I say good luck in school.
yeah, I think the general agreement and the proper actual etiquette that's written out somewhere is it's pre-tax, it's 15 for lunch, 20 for dinner. But I just kind of just do 20 across the board.
Oh,
with
really?
it.
20 at lunch, big baller.
Well, I mean, usually, it's not, we're not talking that much difference. So we're talking like 50% or 50 cents, not 50%, 50 cents. Like if it's just me by myself, the difference between 15 and 20, it's not that big of a deal.
You
know?
still eating loose meat sandwiches for 10 cents?
10 cents. The tip,
I don't eat lunch out.
The
That's
tip
my
is
problem.
different by 50%. Or
That's
50, I keep saying percent. It's 50 cents.
I'm way lost.
Okay. I'll start my math over here again. So if I go somewhere and I get a lunch for like $10,
Yes.
okay, if I were going to leave 15%, that would be
Yes.
$1.50.
That's right.
If I leave 20, it's $2, and that's a difference of 50 cents. Okay, there we go.
That was great. While you were talking, I wanted to scribble on this paper right here while you were like, go ahead. Do your line again. Just one last thing. Say, if I pay $10.
And if I pay $10 and the tip is 15%, it's $1.50.
And you're like, hang on. Checks out.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do.
I hope that people are also picturing that woman meme that has like all the equations going on.
Confused. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, that's good. Good. Well, you're a good person, I guess.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
like to.
But I won't tip some places. You know, if there's a tip jar where it shouldn't be, I'm not tipping there.
Like if it randomly popped up at McDonald's, which by the way, that's for the Ronald McDonald Foundation. You're supposed to leave pennies in that. But what do you mean? Like tip jar at where have you seen one that stands out to you? Oh, like at I know what you're talking about. Like at a place that sells knickknacks, you know?
Yes.
Like a little store that has everything there. And then they put up a little, like it used to hold lollipops, and now it's a plastic empty thing, and then they wrote a paper sign that's like, tips welcome, and you're like, I bet they are.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you don't work for tips. You own this business.
Yeah, this is your house.
Yeah, this is your greeting card store. I don't need to tip on the thing that I'm already paying you for.
Then you've gone too far. You've crossed his line.
Yeah, because the service industry that works on tips is, first of all, it shouldn't exist like that anyway. People should be paid and there shouldn't be tipping. But since it is that way, I'm not going to deny people a living with my tips. So I'm sorry, this shouldn't exist. So therefore,
You chose the wrong job.
yeah, like if I was going to do that, then I wouldn't eat at those places, and that would just be my choice. I wouldn't go in, have them serve me, and then be like some of these people that leave. Well, Jesus is your savior type of tip. Like,
Yeah,
have you seen
shame
those
on
cards?
them. They should wear a T-shirt that says "I'm mean."
Yeah, it's like it's amazing that, and it's only happened, I think, in the Midwest where I've seen that, where somebody, it literally is a little card that certain church groups, it's not like, this is not a Christian thing. That's not like across the board.
I was
church
gonna
thing.
say they have to be atheists.
Yeah.
Just leaving it like hoping people will
That-
hate religion once and
like
for all.
if I don't know the group's name, but there's like a specific group, maybe a denomination, that they end up, instead of leaving money, they will go get all the service, and then they will leave like just a little card like how to be saved, and I'm like, that's not, no.
Nice service. You know who served better? The Lord. Or do you know who you could really serve? Your God.
Yeah.
I have not heard of that, but I have heard of people whose, grandparents or parents left $2 flat tip no matter what.
Yeah, well, that's I saw in a previous episode, I think, about working at Bob Evans, and I worked there for like a few days, but I saw the old people left $1. Like it was just like, no matter what, their tip was stuck in like 1971.
Yeah, and then their kids come back in the store afterwards and plop down singles and go, they lived through the Depression. Here
Yes.
you go.
Now, the other thing with tipping is when you're in a large group, and this is not just tipping, but the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're a large group, and then people say, "Oh, let's just split it." It's like, no, absolutely.
You're not down with that.
I'm not doing that. No, because I almost never have alcohol. I don't get the appetizers. Look, I got my thing. It's $10.
Right.
So at lunchtime, it's $1.50. At dinner, it's $2. Do not try to like get me into this thing where I'm now paying for your stuff. Like,
When someone treats, they're like, hey, it's on me this time. I say, thank you so much. And then when they're scribbling it out, I go, oh, by the way, I tipped very generously.
yeah, very generously.
You're going to have to get a little more than that.
Yeah.
If you're representing my bill that I didn't pay.
Yes, and that's the thing. If we all went into this dinner saying, "Look, I want you. I know I'm not going to order a bunch, but I want you to get what you want, and I'll split the bill with you. Whatever it is you want, you get. That's fine."
Right.
And that's like me just kind of being a little extra generous, and that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always the person that orders the bunch of stuff that says, "Why don't we just split it? Math is so hard." It's like, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. In fact, we all got iPhones. Let's all pull them out. And
We have the calculator
Yes.
app.
They gave us a menu with the prices on them, thankfully, and a bill that's itemized. I think we can handle this. We don't need to have it just split up.
Now, just for fun, is this what you actually say, or this is what you're thinking?
I have said this. I have gotten
no.
in arguments with people at a restaurant where I'm like, I am not paying for your stuff. stuff. You ate all of this stuff, and it's not my job to pay for you. It's your job to pay for you.
My.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, recently a friend came in from out of town and I hadn't seen her in years. So we ate at a spot and I was like, you know what? Since I want this appetizer, I'll cover it. But anybody can have whatever they want. You know what? And I even threw an extra one in there. I was like, you know what? I'll cover 2 appetizers, But I didn't say I'll cover. I was just like, hey, do you guys want to order these? And they kind of hesitated. And I was like, it's on me. I'm interested in trying them and I'm happy to share. That's how I said it. Mm-hmm. At the end of the bill, they secretly paid the bill. And I felt like a real dope having piled on all the extra food because I wanted to be the one to treat that.
Well, you kind of did. You covered it because
I offered in.
Yeah.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought. Completely.
No, it was very kind of them, and I told them so. But I was like, can I treat you for these? And they're like, no, it's on us.
No, that's very generous of them. But like, there definitely is a 2 people in this world type of thing where it's like the people that think you should split everything and the people that don't. And there's some people listening that are going, well, he's a real jerk for not doing it. It's like, we're not talking about the difference of $1 or $2. It's like,
you mean when they've gone overboard and then they're feeling the pinch and they're like, you know what? Let's just lessen the load here. Everybody split.
I am completely okay splitting if we're all in the general number. If it's something where yours was 18, mine was 15. Look, that's fine. We'll just split. That's no problem. But it's not okay if it's like, yeah, mine was 12 and yours was $42.
I know, but it happens.
I'm not splitting with you. No. Because that's the one I got in the fight with the guy where he was like, he had a bunch of drinks. He had appetizers.
But there were also like 10 people there. So he thought he could get away with it.
He did. He thought he was going to just sneak it in. He thought we could we'll just rub that all around and nobody will know whose was what. And it's like, I'm watching you, buddy.
But here's the problem. Everybody else drank. It's just you kept your bill low because you were expecting to pay for yourself.
Yes.
So and I think you did. You were like, look, they all can split their check and here's my check.
Yes.
Make me a separate check for this item.
Here you go. Here's a
frugal
20.
Times,
and I want $3 back.
Oh my goodness. We're teasing, but I respect that. I mean, because especially if times are tight and you shouldn't be eating out anyway. But this is what people do on Twitter. They'll be like, if you can't be generous, you shouldn't be eating out anyway. And it's like, not true. If you know how to work within your own budget, you should enjoy the finer things within your budget.
Yeah, well, those people...
But I do think you severed that friendship for life.
Probably, yes.
So
they're the bad people.
Was that worth $3?
They are the bad people. Yes, it was. I will go to my grave thinking that was worth it. And that's the problem, because the people on Twitter you're talking about, they're always like, they complain about somebody that refuses to split the bill. It's because they're the ones that are ordering everything, and they're the ones. They're not the ones being generous. Mm-hmm. They're wanting somebody else to be generous to them and take it.
I will say I have been that person because I'll be like, "Ooh, I want a dessert. Anybody else want a dessert?" Everybody goes, "No." And then at the end of the night, I'm not the one volunteering. Like, are we all gonna split it? But if someone goes, "Well, I guess we'll all split it," I'm like, yes, let us all split this cost.
Just back into the background like Homer Simpson in The Shrubbery.
Thanks for joining us today. If you had a great time, let us know on social. Follow Kid is in School on Twitter and The Kid is in School on Instagram. Subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Be sure to throw us one of those 5-star ratings and share with your friends. Oh, and do it quickly before the kid gets home.